75% of Accenture's 500,000 people are accessing ServiceNow on a monthly basis. Truly astounding. I'm Jason Warnke, part of the Accenture Global IT organization, and I'm glad to be here today with Karen Odegaard, who's Accenture's Managing Director, Enterprise Services for ServiceNow. We're here today to talk about how we're furthering our alignment to Accenture's IT overall platform strategy utilizing ServiceNow. I personally have seen the benefits as we capitalize on ServiceNow's functionality, cloud-based architecture, and platform as a service strengths. Thanks for joining me today, Karen. Let's get into it.
Hey, Jason. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat about what we're doing with ServiceNow.
Perfect. Okay, first off, it'd be great if you could explain to everyone what ServiceNow is and how Accenture is using it.
Sure. Well, ServiceNow is a platform similar to Salesforce, but specifically, it's a platform that orchestrates and automates the flow of work between resources across an enterprise. And so by resources, I mean systems, people, partners, and the cloud. On the platform itself is a software as a service base for driving work across different organizational departments. So like IT, HR, and finance, to name a few. And then you can extend that software as a service capability to build apps, all in support of flowing work and delivering services across the enterprise. So ServiceNow itself started off as an IT operations tool, but it's greatly evolved to the workflow automation platform that it is today. Specifically for Accenture, we started using it for its IT service management features. We wanted to be able to automate service delivery across IT, and so that was our initial focus. Today, it's evolved to a single destination for our people to request support, a site we call Accenture Support, and we're delivering services across the enterprise, well beyond IT. So for example, Jason, if you and I need help with our PCs, we're going to go to support to log a request. If we want to ask HR a question, we're going to go to the same destination. And then our teams are also going to support to submit requests for international travel or for a leave of absence. And then you and I are going to go to that same destination to approve those types of requests. And so that is ServiceNow in a nutshell.
That's super cool. I too recall when years ago I would think about ServiceNow really as that IT service management platform and really the best in the industry. And how it's evolved in our environment, and as you said, become the single destination for all employee support sorts of needs. Super cool. So can you tell us a little bit about the team that works on ServiceNow? What skills do they bring to the table, and where are they located, and how do they work together in that distributed manner?
Yeah, and so given we use ServiceNow as a platform, we've built the team required to effectively manage and sustain and continuously evolve our capability for ServiceNow to support Accenture internally. And so I'll talk about some of the key functions that we have. First is strategy and product management. Because we want to be experts on the product, we want to know the relevant feature sets, we want to know what's coming to keep up with the pace of evolving technology. Because as we say around here, Jason, right, digital transformation is a journey and not a destination. Secondly, solution design and technical architecture team. And so we have standards around experience design, accessibility, mobile first design, and scalability. And those are absolutely critical to what we do, given we are an employee facing app that's accessed by over 75% of our people every month. And so as part of those teams, we have developers, we have technical and solution architects, we have data and analytics teams, resources that are focused on security and compliance, resources that manage the end-to-end release management process. And we also need a team that's going to keep the lights on, so our production operations team. And so we really have a broad breadth of skills in order to manage our implementation. Location-wise, we're global. We've taken advantage of having ourselves as a partner, leveraging our technology and outsourcing capabilities. And so we have teams in North, Central, and South America, and India and the Philippines for our delivery arms. And these teams, they work collectively across time zones and locations, leveraging our collaboration tools, which I know you're a big fan of Teams, Jason, which is what we use. And then, we prioritize connecting weekly. We also do workshops for some of our more strategic efforts because we know as great as collaboration tools are, that FaceTime becomes really important for some of the really difficult work we're going to do. And then our geographical spread gives us that 24-hour coverage because, we never sleep around here. And so that also allows our team to be near our stakeholders who are also anywhere and everywhere.
Fascinating. I want to call out a stat that you mentioned there that I'm not sure everyone really understands the impact of. 500,000 people, which means, as you said, 75% 5% of our people at any given month are
Yeah.
tapping into and using ServiceNow for any of those types of support tickets that you mentioned a bit earlier. So amazing that you can do this in a fully distributed manner with teams all around the world. And it truly is a 24/7 operation because, as you said, tons of different support types are coming to ServiceNow and being managed there. So really, really cool. So when ServiceNow was first implemented, I think way back in 2016, how has the platform changed since then? And how were you using it to really enable Accenture in this post-digital era?
Yeah, well, it's changed quite a bit as a platform has evolved. Our journey has evolved with that. In 2016, the focus was around rationalization and digitization. And I'd say now in 2020, there's still a lot of rationalization to be done as we've realized the value of the platform. But back then, we moved from a focus on service support for IT to providing support across the enterprise, including employee relations case management, financial master data requests, delivering that automatically, and also providing support for HR and workplace. This year in 2020, we're exploring more opportunities to automate and transform how people work. So we're doing things like deploying virtual agents, machine learning for support, as well as getting what you need easier with mobile access. And so we're really proud that we're going to be able to deploy that this year. Like most of our other enterprise services here at Accenture and within our CIO organization, we're aiming to truly support the digital worker, in our case, both human and non-human.
What's cool about platforms like ServiceNow is the sheer pace that our platform partners, in this case ServiceNow, are deploying new features and capabilities for our end users, which ultimately help us with that employee experience, as you mentioned, all kinds of super cool things with digital agents and the mobile experience, and just probably another 50 things that will get announced this year.
Yes.
So I just love it. The rapid pace of change on these platforms, all benefiting our end users, is just super cool. So then let's talk about those end users. What are folks saying about ServiceNow? How is it really improving the way that they work and live here at Accenture?
Yeah, so I'd say there's still more work to be done and experience improvements to realize, but you certainly have to take it into perspective from where we were in 2016, which includes, many destinations and no visibility into any of the requests that you submit to any part of the organization. And so what we've heard is that, the consolidation and the aggregation of destinations is really helpful to people. We have a large global mobile workforce, so people go to their client sites and then they come back to Accenture, and it's hard to figure out where to go because it might have changed, and there are so many destinations. So we've heard from our end users that, knowing the one landing place, Accenture support, is where they start, has been really helpful. With unique solutions like our leave of absence service, we've heard our users say it's an awesome experience for them because they can now consume intelligence for exactly what they need to know or are entitled to without having to read a lengthy policy or waiting for a human to respond to their inquiries. And so that's been really transformational for us. For services that are automated, our users love the productivity they experience with getting things done faster. So for example, for our automated billing solution on ServiceNow, we've reduced the time that it takes to create an invoice from days to minutes. And that's productivity we're giving back to our people, Jason.
You certainly have focused on the employee experience, which is great. But there's the other aspect you mentioned there is really saving IT time, which ultimately, if you can take those sorts of tasks out of IT hands, that means that IT can be working on yet other solutions that are driving employee productivity and engagement and experience. So that's actually a really interesting point. So today,
not just IT, but finance and HR. We're adding productivity everywhere.
That's right. You're taking manual tasks out of the human's hands that used to have to manually work the workflow, if you will, to do these sorts of things. And now ServiceNow is managing that. So absolutely, gives IT and gives us more opportunity to focus on those things that truly drive employee engagement and experience. So I love that. Karen, as you mentioned, 75% of Accenture's 500,000 people are accessing ServiceNow on a monthly basis. Truly astounding. So that group of people, which is a large number of them every month, what are they saying about ServiceNow? How is it really improving the way that they work and live here at Accenture?
Yeah, so today is primarily via laptop. However, the site is mobile responsive, so you can access it through your mobile device, and we continue to evolve that. In 2020, as I mentioned, we are deploying a mobile app as another option for employees that will have virtual agent and natural language processing capabilities embedded. We realize that everybody works differently, and so we want to support multiple channels to get support, but those are generally the 2 or 3 ways.
I'm personally super excited about getting to the ServiceNow mobile app. I will be a big user of that. I'm a big user of support these days. And so I'm a very mobile centric sort of employee, which I know a large number of our folks are. So I'm going to give you the last question of the day. Just an amazing story here on our ServiceNow journey. But what's next for ServiceNow at Accenture, and what takeaways would you share with other organizations who are considering implementing ServiceNow? Any best practices or considerations you'd share?
Yeah. So I think the opportunities are endless. There's still a number of application rationalization opportunities to move apps to a platform, to move simple service requests and other service-based solutions to ServiceNow, really taking advantage of the SaaS capability that's there. In addition, verticals are a big shift in focus for ServiceNow as a platform, and Accenture has leveraged it in that capacity. But I think we're going to want to take advantage of some of the native capabilities that are being built for like finance, legal, and facilities. And last, we've only just scratched the surface on cross-enterprise services and building more end-to-end processes like we've done for leave of absence. So we're going to take advantage of the data we now have on the platform across departments and corporate functions to bring more dependent services together, really elevating the experience for our end users. My advice to organizations is really 3 things. One, given that ServiceNow got its start in IT operations, take a look inside your own company and assess how to leverage the power of the platform and maximize the value you're getting out of your ServiceNow investment by exploring those use cases beyond IT. Once you've gone down this path, I'd say run this as a platform and don't underestimate what it takes to do that, and continue to evolve your journey at the pace of how quickly the technology is growing. 3 is find a collaborative partner like ServiceNow and Accenture that's going to help you meet your objective, because as we know, it's harder to do anything alone than with a partner. And I'd say it's a journey. It's going to evolve over time, and the outcome at its core is going to be continuing to drive digital transformation across the enterprise.
Well, that was awesome advice. Karen, I know you and the team are extremely busy, as you've demonstrated here today. So I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to share your thoughts with us today. And I look forward to hearing more about our ServiceNow journey at Accenture.
Great. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you for joining today's podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the Accenture CIO podcast series on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Find the full CIO 24/7 podcast series and additional ways to subscribe at accenture.com/CIO podcast.